Top story for you today is that growing anger we're talking about over the way that A-levels have been graded, as grammar school heads and sixth form colleges are joining forces to criticise the government.
Pupils have been protesting this weekend after almost 40% of grades in England awarded last week were lower than teachers' predictions. It comes just days before GCSE results are due to be released. Gallagher reports.
The fury over A-level results is not going away. Feeling let down, angry and upset, students protest outside Westminster. Others contacted the BBC directly.
I hope to come out with 3 A's on results day to study medicine at Lancaster University. Unfortunately, I only came out with 3 C's, which means I was rejected from both my firm and insurance offers.
The grades that my teachers submitted this year for me were A star AA, and had I gotten these I would have met my offer and gotten into Cambridge. However, after standardisation I received AAB, which meant that I was rejected.
40% of A-level grades were marked down from teachers' predictions, and over the weekend the appeals system plunged into even more uncertainty when guidance for pupils in England was withdrawn within hours by the exams regulator Ofqual. The Education Secretary Gavin Williamson has borne the brunt of the anger, but there are now calls for Boris Johnson to take charge of a situation widely described as chaotic.
I care about these young people, to be honest, and the hundreds of thousands of students who are affected by this disaster. So that's why I'm calling on the Prime Minister to step in, quite frankly. He needs to right this wrong in the next 24 hours. That's why he's the Prime Minister of the country. He needs to get up off his backside and help and support these young people.
Grammar school heads and sixth form colleges have joined the growing criticism. The Grammar School Heads Association said the standardisation model used by Ofqual is completely unfit for purpose, giving utterly baffling results. Sixth form colleges also believe their pupils are being treated unfairly.
We looked at 41 A-level subjects, which is almost all A-levels. And the extraordinary thing that we found was that in every single one of the 41 A-level subjects, the performance in this year's results was below the 3-year average in every single subject.
GCSE results are due out this Thursday. The man who introduced the exams says they should be delayed.
There'll be a massive number of downgrades this Thursday, a really great massive number. You must get 500,000 people take maths GCSE, so you're into numbers of hundreds of thousands complaining that they've been hit.
The Department for Education says it's been clear it wants to build as much fairness into the appeals process as possible and is working with Ofqual to achieve that. Gallagher, BBC News.
Well, let's get the very latest from our political correspondent Iain Watson in Westminster. So, Iain, so many people will be in really kind of difficult situations. What is the government going to do, do you think?
Well, it certainly looks as though the appeals process has been re-examined because the guidance by the exam regulator Ofqual was withdrawn from their website yesterday, and the Department for Education spokesman late last night said that the government was keen to make sure that the appeals process was fair and that Ofqual, the regulator, would be continuing to consider how to deliver that appeals process. But they've also been suggesting that there'll be no major U-turn, not doing what the Scottish government did under pressure, which was to accept the teacher-assessed grades on their own. Nonetheless, there has been pressure from some of their own MPs for a rethink. Many of them are saying yes, they want to see a robust appeals process, but I think the mood in the Conservative backbenches won't necessarily have been improved by the intervention of the Grammar School Heads Association, because they're, in language usually used by opposition politicians, they're saying today that a great injustice has been done. And what they're calling for is teacher-assessed grades to be accepted, but also a cap on university admissions to be lifted. And what they're saying today, perhaps some Conservative MPs might be saying tomorrow.
Just really briefly, GCSE is, of course, coming out on Thursday as well.
Yes, this could be toxic for the government, because you heard there from Lord Baker, Kenneth Baker, the former Conservative Education Secretary, who was talking about perhaps many thousands of downgrades, and he has called for a delay in those results to be published, perhaps a delay of a couple of weeks, and the government could have a review of the process that has led to the downgrades for A-levels.
Iain, thank you very much.
A search team looking for 2 missing brothers off the Lancashire coast have recovered